Welcome to the Faculty of Education. My name is Vanessa Graffi, and I'm the manager for the Office of Student Services with the Faculty of Education program. I and my team have planned some slides to support students' interest in the Bachelor of Education program, but specifically to the consecutive model. So I'm going to spend about 20 minutes going over the information and hope this will support you with a future application to our program. So the Faculty of Education at York University, we are one of the largest faculties in Ontario, and we deliver a number of programs, not just to become a teacher. We deliver, as highlighted here, the Bachelor of Education program. There's several different models that we offer to both current York students and to graduate students. We also deliver a Bachelor of Arts program in Educational Studies, which is a 4-year program. We have graduate programs, and along with those graduate programs with the master's, the PhD, there are diplomas and certificates as well. More information about the graduate program can actually be found on our website at edu.yorku.ca, as there are specific timelines and deadlines with the graduate programs. So our Faculty of Education program, as I've noted, we have several models. We have the Concurrent Model, which is for students who have not completed a degree yet, but are going to be finishing up their York degree in another year or two, and they can start planning the Bachelor of Ed concurrently as they're working on their undergrad. The consecutive Bachelor of Education model is for those students who hold a degree already, a recognized degree, or are going to be finishing up their degree in the next year. And the next few slides over will speak a little bit more about that. Our Bachelor of Education program at York University does lead to a recommendation to the Ontario College of Teachers. So for those of you that are not aware, when you become a teacher or wish to be a teacher in this province, you have to become a good member with the Ontario College of Teachers. And so as students are graduating from our program, our role is to nominate those who have successfully completed the program. Our program is about a 2-year program. There are a few different models, which I'll talk about, but typically the Bachelor of Education, it's a fall-winter program. You get lots of experience in a classroom along with the courses that go hand in hand to support that time that you're in a classroom with a mentor teacher. And as I noted, once you've completed, you are nominated to the Ontario College of Teachers. So the model that I'm going to talk about is the consecutive Bachelor of Education program. It does require that you hold a degree or that you will have a degree completed by next September 2021. You can't be pursuing another degree at the same time. And if you are, then that would be a future interest in the concurrent model. And we'll be hosting some concurrent sessions in the month of October, probably starting around mid-October, because the deadline for the concurrent model isn't until next March. But for the consecutive model, it's coming up, and my next few slides will speak to that. In fact, the deadline is December the 1st. I think a big question we get from candidates who are interested in becoming a teacher and they find out that they have to do the Bachelor of Education program, they immediately say, well, do I then need to go to Teachers College afterwards? And it's a no. The Bachelor of Education program that you're doing at York is what used to be called Teachers College. So once you get the program done, off you go, you're a member of OCT, and then you can start filling in those positions to become a teacher in the boards here in Ontario or even abroad. There are other options too. We'll call the good old Bachelor of Education program, where you can teach from primary, junior, right up to grade 12. But if you are a student who has an interest or you have experience in other areas, these may align to your interests. So there's the Technological Education program. It also has a start next September, but these are candidates who have work experience in a tech trade. It does usually require anywhere from 2 to 5 years of tech trade experience. That could be in construction, electrical, in the health industry, in the culinary arts, in the aesthetics area. Some students have degrees that are aligned with that area. Some students don't. So you've been working in that area, in that trade for many, many years, and that's okay. What I want to encourage you to do, if you think that you align to a technological education experience, is look at the website. There are 4 different ways that students can be brought into our BED program to move into the Bachelor of Ed, technological education, but it does require that you fulfill or have met one of those 4 requirements. Another one is the Jewish Teacher Education Program, and those are for students who have an interest to teach in the Hebrew schools, but you will also be certified to teach in the public school boards too. There are additional hours that you have to complete in the Jewish schools, the Hebrew schools, and there's also a few additional courses that you have to take at York along with your Bachelor of Education in the area of Hebrew language. The third one here is quite exciting. We've just finished our first cohort of students and they are graduating now, and that is the Waban Indigenous Teacher Education Program. Our first cohort started in May of 2019, and we're going to be moving to our next group for May 2021. These are students who either are aligned with Indigenous, Métis, sort of communities where they have status. We have students that may not have status, but they're still part of that community. And these are individuals that eventually want to finish up their Bachelor of Education program and work in those communities. You know, if it's within the Toronto area, maybe it will be going outside of the Toronto area. This one has a May start. The application will be opening up around the middle of October, and it's going to be on the York website. You're going to hear me talk about a different route to apply very soon, but for the Waban cohort, you apply directly with us through our website. So please visit the Waban Indigenous Teacher Education site. The fourth one is the French as a Second Language. And this is something we've had for many years. The model has kind of changed a bit, and we are now offering also a consecutive opportunity. It used to be concurrent only. And these are for students who are Glendon. You have to be a Glendon BA student, or you've come from Brescia College University in London, Ontario. We are looking for candidates who are finishing up their degree in the coming year or already have a degree, and it too has a fall start. So the teacher education program, what I'm going to start moving into is really how do you apply? What are the things that committee are looking for? What do you need to keep in mind? And then sort of following up lastly with what the courses look like. So we're going to talk about the different admission requirements. We offer primary, junior, junior intermediate, and intermediate senior. There's also experience profile requirement and references. And then I'll talk a little bit about the practice component of our Bachelor of Education program too. So we offer, as I noted, anywhere from junior kindergarten, the wee little ones, age 4, right up to grade 12. The Kiel campus cohort is the one that delivers all year levels. And again, I'll talk about that in a moment. We offer from September to April, 2-year program. There are approximately 20 courses. That also includes the practicum in that 2 years. So it's a busy program. We require a community component, and we'll find a community setting for you. And you have 3 practicum placements, which we can call experiential education. So you'll be in 3 different schools over those 2 years. We offer our program in 3 locations. So the Kiel campus, and the Kiel campus delivers what we'll call the regular consecutive BED, primary, junior, junior intermediate, intermediate senior. The technological education program is also offered at the Kiel campus, as is the Jewish education program too. The Waban program has had a special partnership with the Toronto school in the Toronto area. We'll see how things sort of move along in the coming year. The curriculum could be delivered both at the Kiel campus and also at the Toronto school, but more information will be offered to students as they apply. We have a Catholic Education Center, so this is partnered with the Toronto Catholic Board, and these are candidates that wish to teach primary, junior, or junior intermediate. And then, as I noted, we have the Glendon College. Glendon is part of York University, and the curriculum for the Bachelor of Education from kindergarten right up to grade 12 is delivered at the Glendon campus. The focus, as it's noted here, is for French as a second language. So your goal is that you'll be able to teach at French immersion schools. So how do you apply? For most of the programs in the consecutive model, you're applying through the Teacher Education Application Service. This is through the Ontario University's Application Center. The application is now open from mid-September, and it's open until December 1st. Now, please keep in mind, if you're applying to other Faculty of Education programs in Ontario, they too are using this application. So we work as a, we'll say as a team, the Faculty of Ed programs in this province, and you are using the TEAS application. So please take your time, look over it. You'll need to create an account through TEAS, and then from there you start moving into the actual application itself. So on this screen, it kind of shows you that here at York, we have our 4 areas: primary junior, junior intermediate, and intermediate senior, along with technological education. And you can only select one of those. And as you selected and you created your profile account, you'll then be moved along to look through all the additional information that we have supporting your application. So there's lots of information. I encourage you to read over it before you complete the whole application. On this application, you're paying the application fee. You're also paying a supplementary fee too, and the York University supplementary fee is $100. So for this for the UAC application, TEAS application, and the SUP app, you can be looking at just over $200. And then as you're mapping in maybe another university in Ontario, they'll have their own supplementary fee as well, okay? So let's go on to some of the sort of common questions that me and my team hear from, and hopefully this will help you. And of course, we'll welcome you to chat with us today or at any point that you have questions. So the first question we always get, what is the minimum grade point average? Well, you are looking at about a B average, a 73% is what we're looking for. And we're basing it on not your full degree, we are basing it on your last 10 courses. So what are your last 10 courses? Well, it's the last 10 courses that we can actually see a grade on. So we don't usually include the fall semester because we'll see the courses you may be enrolled in if you're still at a university, but we won't have a grade. So the grades are based on maybe, let's say, from September or from the summer going back. So 10 full courses, or we're looking at 20 half courses, but we're looking at an equivalent of 2 years and at about a 73%. What was last year's average for our consecutive program? It was a B. It was a B average. It has been for many years. And we can sometimes adjust that average if a student has applied for access, and I'll talk about access in a moment. Please note as well that we do not include E's or F's, so failure courses. So if there is a course on your record that is demonstrated as a fail, it doesn't get added to your grade point average. And the next question we get is, well, when we're looking at it, and what does committee look? Do they give a certain percentage to the average and a certain percentage to the experiences that I'm going to be talking about in my supplementary form? Well, it's a 50-50. So you need to meet that B average. And then if you have the B average, then committee will review your full application with the experiential, or not experiential, with the supplementary information form that you'll be filling out for us. Is there a preference of a 4 to a 3 year? No, there is not. However, if you want to teach at the high school level, intermediate, senior, you do need to have a 4-year degree, 120 credit program. Is a master's degree preferred? Do you give points to a master's degree? No, we do not. It is an undergraduate degree that we're basing your admission on. However, if you do have a master's degree, some of those courses could be used for a teachable, and I'll talk about teachables in a moment. But at the high school level, intermediate, senior, you have to have so many courses in certain teachables, history or English or math, whatever your passion is. And sometimes we can jump into your master's degree and pull some of those courses to meet the teachable requirements. When does a degree have to be completed? You need to have the degree completed before you start the program, next September. So there you go. Make sure you have your degree completed by next summer. We'll be asking to see your degree conferred in order to meet the condition of your offer. When are decisions out about the Bachelor of Ed? So March the 1st, we will be going out March 1st, 2021 with our committee decisions. So between now and March, you have lots to do, completing supplementary forms, but the committee really start vetting over and going over the files around the middle of January through to the end of February. And do you have a special admission policy? And that is an access. We call it the Access Initiative. The Access Initiative is an opportunity to sort of bring in students who are going to make amazing teachers, but maybe their pathway to be in the school system was a little bit different. Maybe they needed additional support and they were on an IEP. Maybe they were new to the system. Maybe they immigrated into the country a little bit later on, and now they had to deal with language, cultural sort of barriers and try to adjust through a new sort of community, a new system. Sometimes it's based on, minoritized, where have you sort of experienced your education? Maybe you're somebody who is identified as a racialized person. So you can see here that we are encouraging candidates to think about a profession as a teacher. If you have this passion of working with kids and adolescents, and you have your own experiences that you can bring into the classroom, because it's going to make those students sort of time the class, love for teaching, love for learning even better. So we encourage you to look at the Access Initiative information. The website is here on the bottom. And if you have questions during the application procedure, my team are here to support you. So Teachables that we offer, I've mentioned this already. We have primary junior, which is junior kindergarten to grade 6. Please note that you don't have to have specific courses in your undergraduate degree. You just need to have a great degree and be passionate about becoming a teacher. Then is junior intermediate. Junior intermediate is between grade 4 and grade 10. That will be your area that you'll be able to be certified to teach. And we are looking for one teachable. The listing is there in the middle, teachable requirements. On that link, you can see all the different teachables that York offers. But we'll be looking for one. And it noted below, you'll need to have at least 24 credits, which is equal to 4 full or 8 half-year courses in that teachable. So history or English or math or physical education. For intermediate senior, you need to have 2 teachables. And we are looking at your first teachable needs to be at least 36 credits, which is equivalent to about 6 full courses. And then you have to have 18 credits for your second teachable, which can be equal to about 6 half courses. What is the GPA? It has to be a minimum of B for those teachables, okay? So we're pretty much B right across the board. And if I'm not too sure if I meet the teachable requirement, what can I do? Well, the booklet that I have created that sits on the UACT's application gives a listing of all of it, or you can email our office, which is osp@edu.yorku.ca. It would really help us if you could give us the course description of that course or courses that you're trying to figure out if it meets the history teachable or an English teachable, and then my team can try to identify if it's a bit of a yes or no. So the next slide speaks about what is committee going to look for. So we've talked about the grade point average, which is that B that we're looking for, along with teachables. But what about the experiences I have? What are we looking for? Well, committee will be asking you questions, and it's on a supplementary form. So you're going to be prompted to this form after you've applied, after we've received your TEAS application. And then some of the questions are going to say, well, can you share how many hours of classroom experience you have? That could be volunteering or that could be working. There'll be also what kind of experience you have, like working, working with kids, working with adults in a classroom, outside of a classroom. And then the other one is volunteer experience. What kind of volunteer have you done in your community? Again, maybe you were part of an outreach program. Maybe you were helping out at the library with a reading program. Maybe you were an after-school buddy. Maybe you were tutoring, but for free. So there's hours that we look for. You don't have to be perfect with the hours. Some of the hours may even overlap. And then from those hours, you're going to bring that into your next question on the supplementary form, which will say, can you talk about these kinds of experiences that you've noted in? What kind of classroom experiences did you have? From what point to what point? What kind of work experience working with the kids and adolescents, and what were those volunteer experiences? I believe it's up to 8,000 characters, so it's quite a bit that you can share in that question. And then the last one is about your personal statement. A personal statement, I always sort of say, is that kind of little warm and fuzzy, why do you want to be a teacher? So you'll look back at the experiences you've shared and start pulling in and, talking about why this direction of a teacher. Maybe it had to do with your own experience growing up in the school system. Maybe it is about working with kids right now. And then talk about, and my slides will go over, about diverse groups. We are a school, we are a university in the Greater Toronto area, so you're working with kids and families from many different backgrounds, many different languages, from small communities to large communities. So you're going to want to bring in, how can you work with a diverse group? And make sure that kids are feeling connected to the teaching practices and beliefs. Now, you will, as a student in our BED program and as a certified teacher, you'll need to follow the Ministry of Education curriculum requirements, but what are you going to bring in to make that learning experience for the kids and adolescents special? As well as the access component too. If you identify yourself as an access candidate, we ask that you speak a little bit about that in your personal statement. Are references required? Yes, we require 2 references. They are both online and will also be available to you when you get the supplementary form. It's all done online, so no pieces of paper of references. The practicum. So to talk a little bit about our practicum component, you will be kept quite busy. You will have 3 in-class placements. In your first year, it will be 1 day a week. And in your second year, in the fall, you'll be there twice a week. And then in your last semester of that second year, you're going to be there for a 6-week block. Those 3 experiences, in-school experiences, give you approximately 88 days, which is a requirement for the Ontario College of Teachers for us to nominate you. There will also be a community placement that will be in your first year. We have over about 200 community partners, and you'll be able to select that one as you're moving into your first year. It may not be all day. It could be an after-school program. It could be online. It could be in the evening. It may even be a move to a weekend. There are a few that are available on a weekend, but we feel that it's important to have that community component, because once you are a teacher, it's not all about the school, but it's also knowing what's in the community where you're going to be teaching. A lot of our kids don't start school at the age of 4, and that's their first point of learning. Our students are learning every day, both in school and out of school. And so again, it's great that you have an idea of what sort of support networks are out there for them. If it's recreation outdoors, if it's library clubs, if it's tutoring, if it's even a program working with seniors. Can you select your own school? No, you cannot select your own school. Our Practicum office works very closely with the 6 school boards, as noted here. We work with York Region, the Toronto, and the Peel Dufferin, both public and Catholic. So we're going to find your school. We try to make sure that the commute is not any further than about an hour or so, because that will be an example of when you do get a job, you're no guarantee of getting the school around the corner. So we'll be working with the school board and with yourself to find those 3 community placements. Job opportunities. This is a big question we get from students. What about a job? What happens afterwards? Well, we have a lot of partners. We have our York University Career Services, and they work with the boards. In fact, the boards will reach out to them and say, hey, can I do an information session and talk about the job opportunities through my board within Ontario, even out of province. We get provincial school boards coming in and wanting to speak to our graduates. There are even international opportunities too. A little bit through career services, but a lot of that happens through our student association, the Faculty of Education Student Association, and they run job fairs. And so we'll have international recruitment officers coming in to speak to our graduates about maybe going off to teach in Europe, maybe in Asia. They offer contracts, a lot of these agencies, and this isn't, teaching English as a second language. These are actually working in the school systems. You may even get a job working in an American high school in Europe or in Asia, or a Canadian or a British, because there are a lot of school systems that teach students outside of their own country. You'll find a lot of kids who are diplomat kids who are still keeping up with their American curriculum, British curriculum, or Indian curriculum, but they're living in a different country. How do you find jobs? Well, the school boards do start posting the positions around the winter time as you're graduating. I find that our students are starting to go in for interviews anywhere from March through to May, so you haven't even graduated, because the boards are wanting to sort of get you on a contract position or on sort of what do you call it, sort of a part-time basis. So all of this will start rolling out to you while you're in your second year of university, in our second year of your BEd program. Another top question we get is, how do I become a guidance counselor or a special education teacher? Well, once you finish the Bachelor of Education program, you'll be able to go on and take additional qualification courses through professional development. This is right across Ontario through all the Faculty of Ed. So one I get is, I want to be a guidance counselor. Well, we will deliver that. We have that program for you, but you have to become a certified teacher first. And sometimes as a guidance counselor, the requirement might be you need to be able to teach for 5 years, and then you can go on and start taking the guidance counselor professional development. These opportunities are not like 1 or 2 years. They're usually over a summer. They could be in the evening throughout a semester. But please, welcome to look at the professional learning link so you can find out, how can I continue to gain my professional qualifications for future interest in both teaching or in guidance or special ed. Can you teach abroad with a Bachelor of Ed? I've already noted before, certainly you can. We get a lot of recruitment officers that come in, and your Bachelor of Ed can go outside of Ontario. But do note, if you decide to teach in Canada, in one of our partner sort of provinces, that province teacher association, they may make you take one additional course so you can get in tune with the provincial requirements through their Ministry of Education. So what kind of courses will I be taking? Okay, so this slide sort of tells you primary, junior, again, kindergarten to grade 6, along with, you know, your practicum courses and so on. You can see you're going to take some literacy, mathematics, science, social science, phys ed, everything that you remember when you were, you know, a young child. You're doing a little bit of everything. So you as a teacher are going to have to jump in and get familiar with a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Same with junior intermediate. It almost looks identical to primary junior, but keep in mind you're working with a slightly older age group. And at the bottom there, you will have your teachable. So you will be known as the history teacher. You'll be the science teacher. You'll be the phys ed teacher. So maybe you will have your homeroom class. You're doing literacy, you're doing some math, you're still doing science with your cohort of students all day, but you could be that teacher that's also taken out and teaching history to the grade 7 and 8s. Or teaching physical education to the 7 and 8s, okay? Intermediate senior always sort of puts a smile on my face because it looks like they're not having to learn much, but in fact, you'll see that the credit weight is much heavier on their teachables. So intermediate senior, you'll have your 2 teachables, and there'll be a lot of time working on how to teach history. That could be your teachable because you've come with a degree in history, or you've come in with a degree in English. So there'll be more time spent on how to bring English into the classroom from grade 9 to grade 12, or history from grade 9 to grade 12. The next slide are the electives. We offer a number of electives, and these are sort of your free choice. So primary, junior, you get a few, but there'll be a bit more focus on math and literacy. Same with junior intermediate, math or literacy. And then intermediate senior, you've got your 3 free choices. So this sort of comes to the end of my slides. As I mentioned, we are available to support your questions. But during this time of COVID-19, I want to bring to your attention that most of the university offices at York U are closed for walk-ins. Many of them are available by phone or by email, but my team right now, we're available by email at osp@edu.yorku.ca. Please give us anywhere from 24 to 48 hours business days to come back to you. If you need to deal directly with an academic advisor, what my frontline team do is they sort of go through the emails and then they support who would be the best advisor advisor to help you out. So I do hope that these slides and bit of information have helped you today. Please visit the TEAS application. There's lots of good information to help you as you're planning your app. Deadline, I can't say it enough, is December the 1st. You need to apply for the consecutive Bachelor of Education program for next September. And then December the 18th is when the supplementary, the personal statement, the experiences, your transcripts, everything needs to be in by December 18th because my team are very busy. They need to get your grade point averages all done and move it over to the committee for consideration. So again, thank you, and I want to wish you the very best and good luck.